Oklahoma beat Baylor 34-31. And oh my gosh, it was such a fun win. Now, for you nerdy stat people out there, I'm probably going to butcher the stat and get it wrong, but I got a text from my friend. My friend literally said, here's what he said to me. I don't know if this is right, but my buddy texted me, he said, this is the first time a team has come back from a 21-point deficit ever against a 9-0 team. So because people that love stats love to take arbitrary numbers, a 9-0 team, 21-point deficit, first time it's ever happened. Whoa, oh my gosh. So therefore, it's a historic win. I can't believe it. But to be very, very clear, what Oklahoma did last night was came back from a 25-point deficit. They were down 28-3 at one point in that game. Oklahoma was losing to Baylor. And I talked a bunch of smack about Baylor. I was like, man, Baylor is going to get trounced by Oklahoma. Oh boy, I was wrong. Oklahoma barely got out of there alive. It was a really fun, really entertaining game. And here is the kicker. By the way, Oklahoma has this incredible comeback. It was fun. It was really kind of an ugly, messy game where for the first half, Baylor was great. And for the second half, Oklahoma was great. And for the first half, Oklahoma was terrible. And the second half, Baylor was terrible. Like, it's just very one-sided halves of football. But here's how the Big 12 Conference works. Baylor and Oklahoma are both members of the Big 12 Conference. And the way that the Big 12 Conference decides who plays in their conference championship is they just take, oddly enough, the two teams with the best records in their conference. A lot of teams have divisions. They'll be like the SEC West versus the SEC East, whatever, however you want it. Pac-12 West, Pac-12 North, Pac-12 South. The Big 12 is very different. The Big 12 takes the two teams with the best in-conference schedules. They play for the Big 12 championship. Right now, Baylor's 9-1 with a 6-1 record in conference, and Oklahoma is 9-1 with a 6-1 conference record. What that means is the matchup we saw last night between Baylor and Oklahoma could happen again in like 3 weeks on December 7th when the Big 12 championship is played, assuming that Baylor and Oklahoma both win out the rest of the year. I'm excited for that game. I am. Baylor surprised me. They were better than I thought. I think Oklahoma was a little bit worse than I thought. Their defense did not impress me. Their front seven just cannot hang. And I think if Oklahoma does end up getting into the college football playoff, Jalen Hurts is not as great as I thought. He's good. He really struggled last night. And the defensive line, the front seven, that's the linebacking core and the defensive linemen for Oklahoma, they got worked by Baylor. They got dominated by Baylor last night for most of that game. There is no way they're going to be able to compete with teams like Georgia or even Oregon, or especially not Clemson, especially not Ohio State, especially not LSU. If Oklahoma does find a way to get into the top four and makes it into the college football playoff, I think they're going to get trounced because I think the level of line play they need on defense is not good enough, and the front seven on defense is a gigantic weakness, and teams are going to gash them running the football the same way Baylor did last night for most of that game. Now, last night, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for Oklahoma. Last night was an incredible, fun moment where we saw Jalen Hurts have a cool comeback. And I was like, Jalen Hurts, I'm happy for you. And I love Jalen Hurts. He's got an incredible story where he transferred out of Alabama. I've done a lot of coverage of it. Go back and watch it if you want. But he left Alabama there for reasons I don't want to get into today. It was really encouraging and inspiring. He stayed there and fought. And then when it didn't work, he left. And I was like, this is so cool. So I love Jalen Hurts. I did not love what I saw last night. In fact, what I saw last night was very, very discouraging. He had 3 turnovers. He fumbled twice. He had an interception. He played badly. He threw the ball awful at times. And I want to ask a question. What does Jalen Hurts do that's elite as a quarterback? What is his skill set? What is the thing he does on the field, number one, that makes him elite? Leadership? And look, I love leadership. Leadership is phenomenal. And the heart is so important. Like Tom Brady got to the NFL without being elite at anything. He was just had a phenomenal heart, was a great leader, had a great work ethic, and Tom Brady turned himself into the greatest NFL quarterback of all time. Right? So if you want to just talk about that, if you want to bet on the fact that Jalen Hurts is going to do the work and become an incredible NFL quarterback that way, good luck. What I see from Jalen Hurts is a guy who struggles to throw the football at times. Like literally his arm it's just not good. The ball comes out wrong. And you're like, that's a 5-yard pass to the right. And you just skipped it to the guy. And it looked like I thought it got tipped. There was a play last night where he threw like literally a 5-yard hitch to the right. And I thought the ball got tipped. And in fact, it didn't. It just came out of his hand wrong and weird. And that's happened a lot over the time. And the velocity isn't there. The ball tends to die. And his deep ball isn't incredible. And he's good enough when guys are wide open. Sure. But I want to recant something. And here's the definition of recant. Recant is to say that one no longer holds an opinion or a belief. I once said that the Bears should draft Jalen Hurts. And maybe if they can get Jalen Hurts in the 7th round, I guess. But I don't think you should build a team around Jalen Hurts in the NFL at all. I think, looking back with more information, with me watching more Jalen Hurts this weekend, I watched the Baylor game. I watched some more of the other games he played this year, and I was like, that's a very just bad take. Like my old take on that was just wrong and just bad. With more information, I'm like, yeah, Zach, you sound really stupid to say that Baylor should draft Jalen Hurts. What I said was, and I think I did Lamar Jackson a big disservice, I said that the Bears should draft Jalen Hurts and then build an offense around his skill set where you have a quarterback running the ball regularly. And I said, I literally just broad strokes said, just do what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. Build an offense around Jalen Hurts' skill set, and that can work. That's wrong. I was stupid. I was dead wrong when I said, like, with more information, I'm like, Zach, you're an idiot. That's one of the dumbest takes I've had in a long time. Here's why. First of all, it's incredibly disrespectful to Lamar Jackson. I want to ask the question again, what does Jalen Hurts do that is elite on the football field? Okay, leadership, but it's not throwing the ball, which is for a quarterback, you want your quarterback, maybe your NFL quarterback especially, to be elite throwing the ball, but it's also not his running ability. Jalen Hurts runs the ball well for a college quarterback, but Jalen Hurts' running ability doesn't translate well to the NFL. Let's compare Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, the Oklahoma quarterback today, runs until he's tackled. What that means is he runs, and then when defenders are in front of him, he gets tackled. He rarely breaks. I haven't seen a gigantic 70-yard touchdown run from Jalen Hurts at all this year. That's not who he is as a runner. Lamar Jackson runs until he scores. Nobody tackles Lamar Jackson. They try, they fail. He either makes them miss or he runs right past them. Jalen Hurts is not that kind of runner for Alabama, or for Oklahoma, excuse me. And so to say that, let's just build an offense around Jalen Hurts' running ability is just disrespectful to Lamar Jackson, because what Lamar Jackson is a special runner. He might be the best running quarterback we've ever seen. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. He's not the most special running quarterback we've ever seen, and not even close. And so just what I said was very ignorant and wrong. I have no faith that you can build an offense around Jalen Hurts' skill set, because his skill set isn't good enough to succeed in the NFL. A lot of guys were, he's a great college quarterback. He is. Tim Tebow was a great college quarterback. Troy Smith was a great college quarterback. Terrell Pryor, Jeremiah Masoli from Oregon, great college quarterback. Vernon Adams was a great college quarterback at Eastern Washington. Did they have NFL careers? No, they did not, because their skill set did not translate to the NFL. That is how I feel about Jalen Hurts. I have one more thing to say about Jalen Hurts. I saw a narrative pop up yesterday. So if you're unfamiliar, Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback at Alabama, got hurt. And Jalen Hurts is a former quarterback at Alabama who transferred out of Alabama because he wanted playing time. And some people have been saying and sending me messages saying, man, if only Jalen Hurts had stayed at Alabama right now, he'd be the man at Alabama. He'd be the best. He'd be the number one quarterback at Alabama. And people are saying, don't you think Jalen Hurts regrets leaving Alabama? No. No. Jalen Hurts does not have even a whisper of regret leaving Alabama. I don't believe that. Let me speak from experience. When your team doesn't choose you to be their quarterback, and then the guy that they chose gets hurt, you don't feel an ounce of remorse or guilty or bad, because you want to play for a team that believes in you, that wants you to be the guy. Oklahoma wanted Jalen Hurts to be their guy, their number one quarterback, the guy they believe in and build their offense around. Alabama. And I don't blame them. Tua Tagovailoa is a far better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But that wasn't going to happen at Alabama. He got what he wanted at Oklahoma. He got a team that wanted to build around him. He's satisfied. Jalen Hurts is happy and satisfied with the situation he has at Oklahoma. He might not be happy they lost a game this year. He might not be happy with the ugly win they just had against Baylor. But he wouldn't trade a team like Oklahoma that believes in him and wants him for a team like Alabama where he's the second choice. Would you rather date a girl that, really, really wanted you because she liked you? Or would you want to date a girl who really, really liked another guy but got stuck with you? Oh, I guess I'll date Zach because I can't have Jake. Or I guess I'll have Zach because Alex doesn't want me, right? No. You want the girl that says, I want Zach. You want the school that says, I want you to be our starting quarterback. So I don't buy that at all. Let's end the narrative right now. Jalen Hurts is not jealous or upset about Alabama at all. Right now, Mac Jones is the quarterback at Alabama because Tua's out for the year. And I don't think Jalen Hurts has blinked twice about it. I'm sure there's a twinge of sadness because he's like, oh, my friends are there. And it'd be fun to play with my friends. That's always going to happen, right? Or you left your friends behind. And that's painful. But just to recap everything I said, very briefly, I think Oklahoma and Baylor are going to rematch in the Big 12 championship. I cannot wait for that game. Baylor's going to be hungry and angry, and they're going to want revenge. Number two is that I don't think Jalen Hurts' skill set translates to the NFL unless he does a ton of work and totally changes the quarterback he is. And then number three, Jalen Hurts is not upset that the quarterback job is open at Alabama. He has a great situation at Oklahoma. He's happy. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to be very clear, open, and transparent. My YouTube channel is monetized. What that means is that some of my videos make money through ad revenue. Now, it's fewer than you think. A lot of my videos get claimed. But in the past, I've received donations from Patreon and PayPal. PayPal.me/Zach Schaumler. Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. And so because I'm making ad revenue, it feels weird to just get donations. I wanted to give something back. I want to give people a reward for supporting me on Patreon. So now you can submit questions. If you give me $1 a month, you can submit questions to a pool of questions on Patreon. I look at all the questions on Patreon. I use my eyeballs. I make a joke about it. And I pick the top couple questions at the end of every single episode, and I read them and answer them on a segment called Ask Zach. Now, that's for people who have money. They want to support me. If you have no money to give, I totally understand. I've been a broke college kid myself. But if you believe in me and if you believe in my dream and you still want to help me, please help me grow by telling your friends about the show. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe a screenshot it. You put it on your Instagram story. Help me grow by telling your friends about the show. My name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so very much, and have a great day.